Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Let me start this off with a big shout out to all the iTrack fam, internationally and nationally, worldwide. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tapping in yet again. I'm on the bounce back, they got the little cold and flu thing going around, but yeah, we back. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I personally think that there's pyramids and ancient artifacts scattered all over America, but that's just me. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think. I think the creepiest thing about that clip is that it proves there was nowhere to go. Even if that was, let's say, a jet fighter, with all kinds of rocket launchers, heat-seeking missiles, or whatever you want to lace these jets with, that ore probably would have just swallowed it up like it was nothing.
If I have questions, I'm gonna ask the question, and it got intense. I love Dane.
Well, you brought up the whole Foxy Brown thing.
Did I? Yeah. I did, and the only reason why I brought that up because again we were talking about R. Kelly, and Dane was taking his stance like I don't condone shit and staying solid, and then at the time people were talking about him being in the Fiesta video. I was like, yo, let's not sit around and not act like there wasn't young girls that were in the hip hop community and stuff like that. And I just from a fan, I was like, my understanding, Foxy got signed at like 15, 16 years old. And the first time I had heard of her was
for real. She ain't know no better. Jay-Z started her when she was 14, 15 years old, made her feel like she was queen of the world, and then he got rid of her. That's when he couldn't control her. Real rap, Inga Marshon is a victim of Sean Carter as well. She is.
On the Ain't No and this is all speculation and rumors. We don't know if it's true, but I'm talking about as a fan outside looking in, and that's why I had Dame in front of me. I was like, how old was she when y'all was in the studio? Like, was anything going on? And if he would have just said no, I think he was like, oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, you funny. Like he was playing it up. But I'm just like, there's probably 5-10 other artists and females that are around that were teenagers. That's why I said there's cats now that the reason why ain't nobody speaking up because everybody been condoning this bullshit in hip hop and film and television and sports. There's young teenage girls around grown ass men all the time.
Yeah.
Quote me. Like I see and it has to stop.
I agree.
Like I don't care if you're a billionaire now. I don't care if you married now. Like if we gonna call out everybody we calling out, then everybody got to come to the table. If you 15-year-old, I don't care who you are, you gotta.
Well, remember Tiger was.
Now I definitely think that Nick had a complete point with that. We can't just point out some, especially when there's more than that hidden in the shadows somewhere. So yeah, he has a point for sure.
Whatever you want to do, believe it, even if you don't believe. Play the game of belief. Act as if you believe. That is power. That is sheer power. And it will happen. Believe you me. An old fool like me. It's worked in my life. It will work in yours. So never give up. Believe, believe, believe.
This amoeba can eat your brain and kill you within 2 weeks. When you swim in lakes or in swimming pools, this amoeba named Naegleria fowleri enters through your nose. The mucus in your nose cannot stop it from entering your brain. As soon as it reaches your brain, it starts to produce babies, and within 2 days it produces millions of babies. The armies of amoeba will start eating your brain tissues, which will result in the swelling of the brain, which causes PAS in the brain. Your ability to taste and smell will slowly go away. You will experience high fever, headaches, and also start vomiting. After 5 days, you will start to experience hallucinations and abnormal phenomena, and slowly it will eventually lead to your death within a few days.
You know, that's definitely on the list of worst ways to die. Like, who would want to just be a slow death like that? You know, that's pretty much up there with dementia and all those other brain dysfunctions. That's horrible.
And this is just almost hilarious if you know what's going on, because they would never ever admit this unless they were forced to in a situation like this. But they basically admitted, like, you don't have jurisdiction over us because we're owned by Britain. So for those of you who are like confused by this, apparently the land that Disney World is on is owned by the Crown. And so since like 1960, Disney World has basically been a tax-free sovereign district, you know, exempt from taxes and anything to do with federal statutes. And they basically claim to just be like an apolitical charity. You know, Disney does a lot of charity work so that they can be tax exempt. Then they started pushing all this woke stuff, and so Ron DeSantis was like, all right guys, you want to get involved in politics? Then let's do politics. We're going to take away your tax exempt status in Florida. But then Disney World came back and pulled out this clause from the British Bill of Rights, which is a royal clause that dates back to like 1692. And it says that essentially Britain has sovereignty over any territory of the Crown until the last descendant of King Charles III has passed. And that's the clause Disney World used to keep their tax-exempt status in Florida. And if you know anything about history, then you know that this clause comes from the Magna Carta, which is like the English Bill of Rights. So most people reading this article are probably like, wait, how is Disney avoiding federal tax codes by using an English Bill of Rights clause? But that's because Disney World is technically a territory of the Crown, just like Washington, D.C. actually. Most of you know that Washington, D.C. is not actually a state, but a territory, aka a British colony.
Wait, wasn't Jay-Z's album named the Magna Carta? That's one to marinate on for sure. But that's very interesting how they pulled that paperwork out and, you know, made those issues go away. You know, had to let them know, hey, we're not paying any taxes anytime soon.
High above Los Angeles, California, in the San Gabriel Mountains, lie 2 unique government facilities. One is still open and operating. It's called an experimental forest. It's a place where the U.S. government tests plant genetics and funds other climate-related research studies. The other facility is Morris Dam Reservoir, and it used to be a naval ballistics range. We're here because we received a report of a strange encounter from a gentleman who was chased out of the forest by some kind of bipedal creature. So UFO Seekers is headed to the area to have a look. For the first time ever, UFO Seekers is headed to Los Angeles County. We're making our way to Glendora, known as the Pride of the Foothills. It's our entrance to the Angeles National Forest. It's located just over 20 miles northeast of downtown Los Angeles. Glendora is best known for its restaurants and shopping. The founders of In-N-Out Burger used to live here before they sadly passed away. But we're not here to learn about history or shopping. We're investigating a sighting. This is where we're going to begin our journey, on Glendora Mountain Road. And Glendora Mountain Road will take us to the experimental forest. This lower canyon area is very popular with people who love outdoor activities in the area. It's also popular with bicyclists and motobikers. But we're headed up past all those activities, and we're making our way to the experimental forest. It's located over 20 miles up into the mountains, just below Mount San Antonio. Established in 1933, the San Dimas Experimental Forest covers 25 square miles. The facility seeks to document and quantify the water cycle in semi and steep lands. The facilities include a laboratory, office, residences, a mess hall, storage and utility buildings, water, electricity, propane heating, and phone service. They also claim to have monitoring equipment, rain gauges, steam gauges, debris dams, and water quality samplers. The experimental forest also covers the dam located in Big Dalton Canyon, and that's where our witness encountered a creature.
Don't even worry about it. I will definitely be posting a part 2 and a part 3 if that's available, because that's pretty close to home. And who knows, man, these forests are pretty inhabited, man, of all kind of creatures. Some that we have no clue.
Have y'all seen tilapia with the herpes all around his mouth? Cankersaurs growing out his ass? Did y'all see that? Google that. Hold on, let me look this up real quick. Tilapia with chlamydia and herpes. Look at this. Herpes virus that affects fish. Hold on, is it possible? Let me show you the chlamydia though. It was a chlamydia outbreak and herpes virus outbreak in tilapia. Look at this. It says a viral insecticitis of tilapia larvae. Primary characterizations of a novel herpes-like virus. And look, the tilapia had chlamydia. But you like your tilapia. You like your fish fillet. Then y'all better quit eating these. If it got eyes and it bleed, y'all better quit eating that bullshit. This is common in Google. Tilapia is man-made. Here we go. And somebody else that don't know what the hell they talking about. Tilapia is not man-made. Tilapia can be mass-produced in a pool, but tilapia is basically genetic modification by 2 other fish in nature that decided to, do their thing. So look, that's what I'm saying. We have to quit. I study animals. I study diseases. I study viruses. I study pathology. I should have been a pathologist. I should have been that. So let's quit regurgitating that we hearing. No, do your own research. Do your own research and see the origins of tilapia. Now, they do mass produce them in pools now, but do your real research and go back to the beginning of where they come from. Yes, it's a hybrid.
I've never been a real big tilapia eater, to be honest with you, but that definitely makes you want to Google any kind of fish that I eat. That's completely disgusting. I like sushi, but at this point, nah, man.
Seen that video going around recently of those potential mermaids on the side of that ship in the middle of the ocean?
No.
What?
What are you talking about?
Are you serious? There's these things that are like racing on the side of the boat that are going the same speed as the boat, and there's like a tail or something trailing behind them, and this keeps up for hours, and then you start to hear whistling.
Let me
you
see
hear
this
tunes. Is that you hear? You hear what sounds like one of them say "jump for me"?
Oh God.
I got another one over here. What are those? What the fuck's going on? On each side of the boat? What are those trails called? What's something swimming fast underneath that water? Something swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's nuts.
And as soon as you jump into that water, that'll be the last time that you even get to see the ocean. I'm pretty sure that's how that's gonna go. You know, one of them horror flick type of things.
Yo, this is crazy. So this is April, 14th? It's Friday. April 14th, 2023. I'm in Oklahoma. Something is above my house, y'all. I could hear some sirens going off in the background. Crazy. Record this for a second, I'm going back inside.
I mean, at the angle that I saw it from, it kind of honestly looked like it could have been some kind of boat, you know, sliding across water from the angle I seen it from. But if you know something I don't, definitely let me know in the comments.
Greetings. My name is Professor Devin Adams. I'm a retired doctor of anthropology with a PhD from the University of Madison, Wisconsin. For years, I've been researching modern humans that have stayed hidden in the American wilderness for over the past century. One of the cases I've come across during my years of research involves the lost group of hydrocephalic patients that migrated into the San Diego mountains after being released from mental institutions before World War II. As insane as that sounds, I want to warn you, there's going to be some disturbing images in the post. Hydrocephalus is a condition where infants are born with abnormally large skulls. This is the result of a defect that doesn't allow the fluid to drain, thereby pushing the plates of the skull out and creating a large layer of cerebral spinal fluid, or CSF, between the skull and the brain. Modern medicine has cured this condition by creating a shunt that's planted at the base of the skull and allows the fluid to drain and the brain to develop normally. Historically, the most tragic result of this condition, of course, was the physical appearance of the patients as they developed. Though it seems an insensitive term, these patients were known as waterheads because of the buildup of the spinal fluid in their heads. Many hydrocephalic children died young from a lack of proper medical care, but some that were institutionalized were able to grow into adolescence. However, it's important to remember, even though hydrocephalus had a negative effect on the brain development, it did not render patients catatonic or helpless. Most who survived infancy could retain an elementary level of cognitive abilities. So here's where things get interesting. In 1942, to prepare for the coming war, many medical institutions in Southern California tried to free up space for potential casualties that could be flown in from the theater of war taking place in the Pacific. This was a big initiative, specifically here in the San Diego mountains, because of the massive port for incoming U.S. warships and hundreds of aircraft. Impossible as this may seem, many patients in local hospitals that had some reasonable level of independence or were not a harm to themselves or to others were quietly released to fend for themselves. They simply opened the doors of these places and let the patients wander into the mountains. Locals who have heard of these cases chalk it up to folklore or an effort to discourage hunters or hikers that increase the risk of fire in this area. Obviously, it's very, very dry. I'm currently camped in the remote hills of Jamul in San Diego County. Look, I'm well aware this effort comes with many challenges and high levels of skepticism. Many of my colleagues consider this work to be foolish or a waste of money and resources. They liken it to research of Bigfoot or searching for the Loch Ness Monster, which is coincidentally why I've started this work independently as part of my retirement. I'll be posting my progress as well as my discoveries on a weekly basis or as often as they occur. But for now, I'll leave you with a video that I captured last night while setting up my base camp airstream, which I think you can see right, it's way over there. This video is a bit unsettling, to say the least. there's definitely something living up here.
Now you know that's super foul for them to just be letting mentally ill people out into the wilderness like that. And that's, if that is true, that's inhumane to like the 10th power. Let's be all the way honest with that. Let's hope it's not true for the sake of humanity.
The current version of history that we've been told is not only incomplete, it's just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Whether they were big civilizations in Illinois 10,000 years ago, which there were, by the way. How can we not know that? We sent a man to the moon, and you can't replicate the technology that created. You don't even have a good guess as to how they were built? We don't. We don't even know when they were built. But why would anyone care? For suggesting that our historical timelines were wrong, and there had in fact been advanced civilizations in earlier moments in time, and that they had been eliminated somehow through climactic events, through natural disasters, and that we're not aware of them in any detail. Kind of seems to be true. Well, why don't we know that? And what does it tell us about ourselves and about the past that we don't know? That's what I would think people would ask. But I know that what I learned as a kid is wrong. What do we know about ancient civilizations? And the answer is like basically nothing.
Did you read about Tartaria?
The current version.
That probably is one of the best questions to ask any American that grew up in the school system is, do you actually know your real American history, and how correct is it? That's definitely a good question to ask.
Really? How often do
and they're still shiny.
No, I see one. Yeah. That ain't a bird, man.
No, it's not a bird.
Birds are not shiny. Somebody's playing with drones right there.
Did you see how one was landing? They landed.
Yeah, now they're way down. Let's get the car and chase.
It's kind of funny because now people are easily being able to decipher between planes and UFOs. It's you can't mistake it. As soon as you see one, you're like, oh yeah, that's that's what that is.
themselves. You know how they wanted to wipe down like the indigenous people in their history?
Right.
Well, they did it before, which is why it was so natural for them to do it to the indigenous. But the Tartarians were also their own people, like their own culture.
But you're saying Putin was trying to release what's behind the ice wall.
He wants to tell us about the Tartarians. He wants to teach us about a lost history, he says. Supposedly.
No,
I don't know if it's true or not.
With everything that I'm saying, though, they live behind the ice wall, that map. That's what's behind the other side of the ice wall. According to Putin.
But there's so much. Like, you have to read it. You have to look into it. Like, I really can't go back.
You really can't go into the website?
Oh, it's called Yandex.
Yandex. Let me see. And that's what it looks like, yeah. There you go. Yep, that's definitely a Yandex. There y'all go. Y'all have nothing to do. Google that. And and everybody's gonna Google what? Tartarians Empire?
Oh, yeah. You can go to Google that on Google too, but you won't get it.
Alright, so you heard that.
You go to Yandex and do search up that through there and it pulls up.
Now, I'm not saying it's real whatsoever, right? But could there be a possibility that that's the way it looks on the other side of that ice wall in Antarctica? Now, to me, if there's not anything on the other side of that ice wall, why do they guard it so much? Why is it not allowed to just explore and go out there and just see for ourselves what's over there? why is it guarded so much? Now, like I said before, I'm not saying this is real, but look at all the intricate details. Look at this city. Now, I know there's a lot of maps that do talk about cities underneath the ice caps and even on the other side of these ice caps. And there's even maps out there, which I am going to show one. So could these maps show beyond the ice wall? And also, are there passages where you could get beyond the ice barrier as well? So let me know what you think about Antarctica. And if there was an exploration that you could get on, would you go to Antarctica?
I think he brings up an excellent point in basically asking the right questions. It's not about asking a lot of questions. You can get all the answers you need within just a few simple questions. That's a fact. So, why can't we go beyond that ice wall? Or, why have all the nations come together and agreed nobody goes beyond that? That's a good question. I mean, why?
Your involvement in the teleportation aspect of Project Pegasus. What about your involvement in the time travel experiments?
By the fall of 1970, they were already moving us backward in time 12 hours. In other words, we would teleport to New Mexico, spend an entire day there involved in project activities, and then when we arrived via teleportation back at Curtis Wright, it was maybe 11 o'clock in the morning rather than 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We asked them, you're sending us back in time, aren't you? And they said yes.
So tell me about this photograph where you're actually seen at the Gettysburg Address.
Well, they sent me to Gettysburg via a new technology in 1972 called plasma confinement.
So we see you in this picture in Gettysburg, and you're standing how?
I just decided that I would walk about 100 paces on a diagonal from the stage, and then stand with my left foot forward and my right foot to the right so that people looking over at me wouldn't see how large these shoes were. And then I would look in the opposite direction from where I knew Lincoln would soon be arriving on the right side of the dais to give the Gettysburg Address. And it was in that position, that odd position, wearing those grossly oversized men's shoes, that I was photographed by a contemporary photographer in a photograph that's now known as the Josephine Cobb image of Lincoln at Gettysburg. What my dad later explained is that when he saw me standing next to him in Gettysburg in 1863, he said, I knew then you were going to be in the project.
I spoke with a lawyer in this.
And all these talks about time travel is the wildest thing ever. And especially because they did a lot of time traveling and it was purely for the research. I'm surprised they didn't go back and time travel and, make the life the way that they wanted to. And I'm kind of want to know, what are the stipulations? Can you do that without any kind of severe consequences? So yeah, that's some more interesting stuff. We got to dig deeper on that kind of stuff.
I began to investigate 528 by a divine revelation that was given to a Dr. Joseph Paleo back in 1997, along with the original musical scale, the original Solfeggio. It was 6 notes by which the hymn to St. John the Baptist was sung. That was known as the most spiritually uplifting hymn of all the ages. And the 3rd note of that scale was miracle note, 528. So it was ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and the 3rd note, mi, miragistorum in Latin, means miracles in English. So from that moment on, I began to think of 528 as something very special, but I had no clue whatsoever what it really was. I had no knowledge whatsoever about it being a love frequency, nor did I have any concept that it was the prophesied key to the house of David. In the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament, 22:22, and in book of Revelation 3:6-8, it talks in the end times about an angel from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, coming and heralding a miraculous key that opened doors that no man can close and closed doors that no man can open. I had no knowledge whatsoever that that was 528. And now we have substantive evidence, massive amounts of evidence. It turned out that when we discovered the original musical scale, there was not just 6, but a total of 9 core creative frequencies to the universe. That is, everything in the universe is made from 9 notes, only 9, and that the first 6 are the Solfeggio, and then there's 3 additional ones that form a perfect circle of sound. And that perfect circle of sound looks something like this. If you graph it. So the first 6 notes, 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, 852, was the original Solfeggio scale. The 528 that you can see on my left in green is the color green. It's the heart of the rainbow. That's the miracle note from the original Solfeggio note, from the original Solfeggio scale. And the other note that you see, 741, which is part of nature, is called the devil's interval in musicology. That when you play 741 with 528, it creates such an annoying and dissonant energy, diseasing, stressful, that if you continue to listen.
See, I always find that interesting how they can break it down all the way down to the scripture. So then you have something to kind of like revert back to and kind of do your own homework. Because that's definitely essential when you're looking to any kind of conspiracy or whatnot. You definitely have to be able to something to look back to so you can do your own homework. You don't want to believe everything you hear, but he's definitely, you know, breaking it down to the keynote, you know. Shout out to him. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. Appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.